can Windows laptops survive the MacBook era, the new MacBook era? Now, I made a video about Android tablets and iPads and why I feel like iPads are just going to be destroying the Android tablets in the future because of the new chips, the M chips that they have, and the potential of an iOS and an iPad OS software that's more laptop like, and how that feels inevitable. And I feel like the same thing might end up happening to Windows laptops too, because uh, because just in terms of comparison, in terms of power, the MacBooks, whenever the newer generation comes out, it tends to be more powerful. Now, maybe not the Air in certain cases because it's a small, compact form factor and doesn't have the cooling and all. But as far as the pros go, I mean, I think almost most of the time they're far above all the other competitors in terms of power. Maybe in some cases they're on par or just below, but still, there's nothing negative you can say about the MacBook in terms of performance. That's how great they are. And the fact that the same manufacturer is making the software for it, and the processor for it, and the body for it, is a huge advantage. Whereas in terms of Windows laptops, the software is made by Microsoft, the chips are made by Intel or AMD generally, and the entire body and everything else is made by different companies like Samsung or Asus or Lenovo or Dell. And those things to work together as perfectly as the MacBooks do, it's very difficult because Apple has control over everything. They can make everything to work with each other perfectly. They can make the software to run on the processors perfectly. When the new updates come out, they can focus on making sure that the updates work perfectly with the older laptops and all that. Because they made everything, they have a lot of control over the process, and that's just something other laptops, which are a combination of different stuff, will have difficulty competing with. Now, the only thing I can really say about the Windows laptops that a lot of people do prefer Windows or Apple is because of the fact that the software. I mean, Windows laptops, they feel honestly more usable to the average person. They don't feel so complicated. They feel easy to use and easy to understand. And you can do a lot of the stuff with it in terms of customization and variation that you cannot do with the MacBooks because that's how the software is made. I mean, the Mac OS software is made like that, and it is different. Now, honestly, if Apple decides to bring out a revamped version of the Mac OS, something new that's completely customizable, you can do everything with the Windows laptops. If that does actually happen, aren't Windows laptops done? Because if you think about it, I mean, what else does the Windows laptops have to offer? If they bring out a software that's as customizable, which they might or might not do, because when you make a software too customizable, there's a risk of getting viruses and hacks and all that. So I don't know whether or not they will do that. But if they do end up finding a way to do that without any risks, Windows laptops are kind of done. I mean, even when you look at the MacBook Air, the only thing that's holding it back is the fact that it doesn't have enough cooling to get the performance numbers that the Windows laptops do, because the MacBook Air is really thin. They made it really thin. And honestly, they could just change that and make it a little thicker and put in the cooling system, and then it's on par with the Windows laptop. It's probably perform better than the Windows laptops again. Plus the fact that Apple has a brand value that people want. People want MacBooks. People want Apple products. And that's probably why Apple's making a more budget-oriented laptop with using the iPhone's A18 chips, because those are powerful and that will give people, the most people, what they want, because most people aren't heavy users. Either you're gamers or do a lot of editing. Other than that, most people aren't heavy users of laptops. They just use it for casual stuff. So yeah, they have the brand advantage and the hardware advantage. And if they end up creating a software that's so customizable, it could be the end of Windows laptops. Apple could completely control the laptop market, similar to how the iPad is controlling dominating the Android tablet market. Although, to be fair, the Android tablets in the past haven't been able to compete at all. Even though they are closing the gap, Apple just keeps getting way too far ahead. And yeah, it feels like the MacBook becoming the common laptop is getting close to inevitable at this point. And I don't see any way the other manufacturers can do this. I mean, everything's coming from different manufacturers. As hard as they try, can they really beat the Apple products? And plus, there's the whole Apple ecosystem thing. I mean, if you have one Apple product, you can sync it with another, and it's really useful. They created a good environment for synchronization. Although it's a pain that it doesn't work well when you compare it with other stuff. I mean, the other stuff, the Windows and Android stuff, they work well too, but I don't feel like they work as well as the Apple products, or they have as much usability as it. So yeah, it is an issue, and I feel like the Apple dominance is just gonna keep growing.